Hello guys, good morning and welcome to my channel El Dero Japon. That's my first video of this year, let's say first video in English, okay? I've been doing some other videos but they were in French. But for this year, the first video of this year in English is that one. So I would like to take that opportunity to welcome you first and also to wish you a very happy new year. So I wish all the best for this year, especially for those guys, you know, in the academic area that are trying to get a scholarship or, you know, those kind of things. So yeah, for this year I decided to go with more content in English. I'm gonna be doing some video more in English as I used to do in French. So the idea is to do 2 videos in English and 2 videos in French, 2 in English and 2 in French. So I want to catch up with my English subscribers, my English followers, and try to share the same information I've been sharing for almost 2 years about scholarship here in Japan and scholarship abroad in Canada, in the US, in France, in Europe, whatever. And yeah, that's what I want to try this year. More content, more video in English as well. So for today's topic, it's gonna be about some really important information that you have to know before even starting the process for this scholarship here in Japan, the Mext scholarship. I think I have around 9 or 10 points I want to share today, and this is what you have to know before even thinking about applying to the Mext scholarship, before even dreaming about being here in Japan. Those information are really important for you. So the first one I have there here on my second phone. I don't want to use the computer today, so I'm gonna use my phone, and I have made this kind of images, and the content are in French, but don't worry, I'm gonna speak and explain that in English. So I put the content in French for my Facebook followers. They are mainly French guys, but I will explain all of those 9 points or 10 points, I don't remember how many. And then you guys, you follow my voice in English, and the image is gonna be in French. Don't worry, I explain everything. Don't worry about that. So the first point is about the length of the process. So the question should be how long, or the question people ask me is how long it takes for the process to get a scholarship. So the answer is that one. It takes around 1 year. 1 year, 1 long year. From the day you submit your files to the day you get the scholarship to come to Japan. So why so? Because there are different steps. So here I record 3 main steps. First step is submitting your files, right? You have your files, like it's gonna be your certificate, your diploma, your transcript, everything. There is a list of documents that you have to submit. So once you submit, this is the first step. When you submit that, then we go to the second step. So between first step and first 2, there is a screening. So you submit your files. So they have to evaluate your files compared to other participants, other candidates. So after the screening, if you pass the first screening, then you get a mail, right? And this mail will tell you, okay, you have been accepted for the next step, and then you have to get ready for the second step. And the second step is about written oral tests. So you have to go to the embassy and then take some English tests, some Japanese tests, and they mainly be grammar, vocabulary, those kind of things. And then you go to a room, probably inside the local embassy of Japan in your country, and you take that test. And after that one, there's also some evaluation of your sheets. If you get it right, if you pass the writing test and the oral test, then you go to the third step. The third step is the international one. That means that your country have selected you. You are the best candidate. You are the good one. Then they will submit your file to the Ministry of Education here in Japan. And then your file will come. So it's like an international competition while you are submitting from France, from Belgium, from Canada, from Togo, from Benin, or from Ivory Coast, wherever you submit from, all those files will come here in Japan. And then the people at the Ministry of the Education and Sports, we call it Mext, and they go through all of your files, what is submitted, and then they will decide if you pass the final step, and based on what kind of school, what kind of topic, whatever you want to study here in Japan. So this is how these things works. That's why it takes that long. So you cannot start the process if you don't know how long it takes. So now you have the answer, It takes around 1 year. So the next question people ask me sometimes is where you can find the forms, the things that you have to download, fill and submit all the information. So this is very easy answer. You just go through the website of a local Japan embassy in your country. Okay, if you are from, I don't know, if you are from Rwanda, you go to the Japan embassy in Rwanda. If you are from Kenya, you go to Japan embassy of Kenya. Inside your country, there should be a Japan embassy, and this Japan embassy, they have a website. Yeah, you just go there and you try to find a tab. And on this tab, the tab's name is mainly culture and education. So try to locate the tab called culture and education, and then you will find the information about the scholarship every year there. And there should be a link that will lead you to the place where you have to submit your files and everything. So the third question people ask me often is about filling these forms. Once you download it, how to fill them. People ask me, is it okay to fill by hand, writing with a pen or stuff like this? So basically the answer is yes. You can fill it with your hands or by computer. Any means is okay. But if you want to make it easy to read, if you want to avoid, handwriting mistakes, those kind of things, so the advice I give you and the advice people at the embassy will also give you is to use the computer. So you just download it. It's a PDF, but still is editable PDF. Okay, so you just download it and then fill out all the information, everything you want to put there, and then when you finish, you print it out and then you put everything in the envelope before you submit. So another question I get some often, like a very important information as well, people asking me, Elder, is it possible to apply for the scholarship for the master, but I haven't got my bachelor degree, or is it okay, I want to apply for a PhD, a doctorate, but I haven't got my master. Is it possible to apply on, let's say, while waiting for the degree? So the answer is no. You cannot apply while waiting for a degree. It means if you want to apply for a master, you should at least already got your bachelor. If you want to apply for a PhD directly, you should at least have got your master. So you don't apply for the scholarship to go to the next level when you haven't done yet or when you haven't finished yet the current level. So for master, you should have your bachelor. For PhD, you should have your master already obtained. Yeah. So the next question is about the transcript. So some people are wondering what kind of transcript they have to submit. So here's mostly is the transcript for the previous 3 years before your last certificate. So if you are in bachelor, you did bachelor 1 year, bachelor second, bachelor third year. Generally is 3 years, and you have to submit your academic transcript for the 3 years starting from your last year of the certificate. I don't know if it's clear enough. Like if you have your bachelor in 2016, then you have to submit your transcript for 2016, 15, and 14. So 3 years before the degree or the certificate that you are applying with. Yeah. Another good information that you should have is those people asking me sometime and asking people around, is it possible for me to continue what I started last year? Some people, they are in, let's say, Master 1, right? M1, as we call it, M1, and they want to go or to come to Japan and directly go to M2, like a Master 2, Master second years. That's not possible. You cannot start Master 1 in your country and come in Japan to do Master 2. That's not possible. So if you apply for a scholarship, you have to know this information. When you start in Japan, you start over. You start with your Master 0. You start with Master 1 if you want. You don't come directly. You don't come through like, it's like, I don't know, it's like open space. You get M1 and you come to do M2 here in Japan. That's not possible. So if you don't want to let's say to lose what you already did in M1 in your country, in Master 1 in your country, what you have to do is to finish, to get your Master 2, to get your master degree in your country, apply for the scholarship and come directly to do a PhD here in Japan. But you cannot. this is very important point. You cannot come directly from M1, Master 1 to M2. So another question is about translating the document. You submit all the files that you have to submit. So this is mainly for French-speaking people. You know, they have the degree, the certificate, the diploma, everything in French. And when they apply for the Japanese scholarship, they are sometimes, you know, surprised that they have to translate all the files in English. Yes, guys, you have to translate all your documents you submit. Japanese scholarship accept two types of languages. So either it's in English, either it's Japanese. So you cannot submit the file in different language. If you speak Spanish and you have your, let's say, transcript, certificate, whatever you have, your resume, you have to translate them into Japanese or English. So most of the time before coming to Japan, people cannot speak very good Japanese, so it's better to make it in English. So translate, you have to translate all your files in English before submitting them. Okay guys, so I would like to pause here to ask you something very easy. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please subscribe here, okay? Just click on the button, also click on the ring bell here, the small bell here to get the notification. And if there's something not clear, maybe I'm talking too fast or the pronunciation, you know, I'm a native French speaker, so sometimes I might get lost in my pronunciation. It might happen. I'm not saying that I'm the best English speaker anyway, but if there's something not really clear, don't worry about that. Just put in the comment. I didn't get something earlier from this to this, and then I will try to go and type or whatever. But yeah. Don't worry, put your comment and subscribe, share, and also very important, please like the video. Like is also important. Push a like. Okay, let's go back to the video, okay? Before I forgot which point I was talking about. Another question, maybe you ask yourself, how many seats, how many scholarship are available for the Japan scholarship in your country? So this is question, really common question. And the answer for this question is, we don't know. No one knows except the guys in the Ministry of Education and Sport of Japan. There is no one in your country, there is no one in the government of your country that can tell you for this year there is this number of seats, for this year there is this number of positions for the Japanese scholarship. No one knows. It depends on the relationship between Japan and your country. That's the first thing. It depends on the number of let's say open seat in the laboratory or the school that you ask. It depends on the topic that you want to work on here in Japan. And really funny question is this one. People ask about money. So is it the money that you get from the scholarship from Japanese government is enough to, you know, live in Japan every month? What you get, the stipend, the allowance, it depends, whatever you want to call it. Is it enough to live in Japan, normally have a decent life in Japan? Yes, it is. And this amount have been really studied by people, you know, the people in Japan in the ministry. They didn't give the money, you know, just randomly. They made some study, they know how much you might spend in your daily food, how much house or rent can cost from one area to another area. If you live in Tokyo, you don't have the same rent as if you live in Nagoya or in Gifu or in Kyoto or in Nara. It's enough. I live in Japan for 6 years before starting working in Japan, and that was the only revenue streams that I have. That's the only things that, you know, I can get the money through, and I live decently, as I like to say. So this money is enough. It's good. It's just, you know, it's just good. It's not too much. It's not low. It's just the average. So that was the point number 9. And point number 10. Yeah, point number 10 is really very yeah, the last point is very important for me. Is about my YouTube channel. You watch this video right now on my YouTube channel. So if you haven't subscribed, please do so and follow my advice. You come abroad, there's many things you don't know in Japan. I've been living in Japan for 7 years almost, and I know many things, and I like to share my experience. I like to share some advices what you should not do, how you have to eat in Japan, how you have to talk to people in Japan. So I'm trying to share my experience and my advice. So I will just ask you to subscribe, not just for me, but for yourself, okay? For yourself, to learn about Japan culture, to learn about the Japanese people, because culture seems to be very nice, maybe not important sometimes, but once you understand Japanese culture, it's very easy for you to live in Japan, to understand Japanese people, to behave, and probably for your future, if you want to work in Japan. I'm gonna do other videos about working, find a job in Japan, because I did it 1 year ago. I was looking for a job, and my background, my Japanese culture and knowledge really helped me. So just subscribe to my channel, share it, put a like, and even if you want to put unlike, you know, sometimes you unlike a video and there is some point to correct. Thank you very much, guys. I'm gonna stop here for today. So next video probably also in English. Hope you enjoy it and see you in next video. Ciao.